All right. Now, for this one, for number two, we are looking for the measurement of the angle A. So this measurement, the angle A. Please let me know if you're not able to see my pen mark. Um, in order for us, first we want to see if we're able to use the law of sine. In order for us to use the law of sine, we need to have an angle with a side length and another angle or side length. Are we able to use the law of sine on this problem? An angle, a side length with another side length or angle. We are. All right. So we're able to use the law of sine, so that would be 28 divided by the sine of 62 all right? And that equals, now if we are looking for angle A, what would be at the top? 25, excellent. Side length go with side length. And we are looking for the angle. So on the bottom, it would be sine of angle A. All right. We would have to cross multiply. You can only cross multiply the numbers that are opposite from each other that does not have a variable. So you can only cross multiply 25 times the sine of 62. Plug that into our calculators. Make sure you check your mode and make sure your mode is on degree. All right. And we are doing 25 times the sine of 62. In parentheses, enter. And we have 22.0736. All right. Now, once we had cross multiplied these two, with the last one, we need to divide. So this answer will be divided by what was left, and what was left was this 28. So it would be divided by 28. So in my calculator, that answer, I could just click divided by 28, press enter, and I have 0.7883. 0.7883. All right. 0.7883. Now that is the sine of our A. But we need to be able to get the angle. So what type of sine will give us the angle back? Sine with the -1. That's sine inverse. Sine inverse of that answer, 0.7 883 and when we plug that in, that would give us our answer. So that previous answer, I am going to divide it by, I'm sorry, not divide it by, clear? That previous answer, I'm going to click second sine, which is the inverse sine, and I'm trying to get this answer in this parentheses. So I'm going to click second -1 to get the previous answer, and in parentheses. That will make sure I don't leave out any decimals. Enter, and my answer is 52.03. Points 0.03. We need to round it to the 10th, to the nearest 10th. And so our answer for the angle A will be 52 degrees. Do I have any questions on that one? No? All right. Now we're going to number 3. All right, for number 3, we are looking for the angle C. And first, we want to see if we're able to use the law of sine. In order for us to use the law of sine, we need to have an angle with its side length and another side length or an angle. Are we able to use the law of sine on this one? No, because we have all sides. That's that SSS. We would need to use the law of cosine. Now, in order for us to use the law of cosine, you will always start with the smallest angle first. So the smallest angle will be opposite from the smallest length. So the smallest length is 12. Opposite from 12 is A. So we're going to start with the angle, looking for the angle A. No, I'm sorry. We only need to look for measurement angle C, so we're going to just use the law of sine for, the law of cosine for angle C. All right, so if we're doing angle C, we will start with the length of C, which is going to be 28. We are going to square it, and that equals the other two lengths, which is 12 squared and 18 squared. So 12 squared plus 18 squared Can y'all see it? Okay. All right, and we're going to subtract 2 times the cosine, 2 times the side lengths again, which is 12. That's a parentheses, y'all. So -2 times 12 times 28. I'm sorry, times 18. I have a hard time erasing it, so 1, 8, 18. And then it's going to be multiplied by the cosine of C. And we are looking for that angle. All right, order of operation, we're going to do the 28 squared first, get that answer. Then we're going to get the 12 squared plus 18 squared, get that answer. And then the -2 times 12 times 18. We end up getting that answer. Write it down. And we're going to pull out our calculator and get these values. All right, pulling out my calculator. I'm going to first do the 28 squared. And that gives me 784. I'm going to do my 12 squared plus 18 squared. And that's going to give me 468. And the last one I'm going to do is my -2 times 12 times 18. -2 times 12 times 18. And that would give us -432. Go back to my problem. 28 squared, that gave me 784, so I'm going to put it right under my 28 squared. That equals 12 squared plus 18 squared. 12 squared plus 18 squared is 468. We included the negative with the 2, so we need to not put a subtraction, but actually just put the answer, and the answer was -432. We're going to then multiply it, bringing down our cosine of C. All right, we need to get cosine of C by itself. So what can we move on that side of the equal sign that is further from cosine C? The 468. That is a positive 468. So in order for me to move it, I need to make it a negative, subtract it. So I'm going to subtract 468. What I do to one side, I have to do to the other side. That crosses this out. 784 minus 468. Calculator. I'm sorry? 360. 316, I apologize. 316. equal, and what do we have left on the right side? Excellent. Negative 432 times the cosine C. We need to still get cosine C by itself on the right side of the equal sign. So what do we need to move now? Excellent. Negative 432. What is the negative 432 doing to the cosine C? It's being multiplied, so we will end up having to divide. And we will have to divide by that negative 432. What we do to one side, we end up having to do to the other side. This crosses out. 316 divided by negative 432. First, we have a positive divided by a negative, which will be a negative. So I'm going to put my negative there first, and then I'm going to actually plug in 316 divided by 432. 0.732? 3? 73? 0.732? 148. I apologize. And that equals cosine C. We are trying to get the angle. So what type of cosine do we use? The inverse cosine. So we have to use the inverse cosine of our answer, negative 0.7314. Once we plug that into our calculator, 137? 42.8? Make sure it's not on radian. 137. I'm sorry, you said, what was the decimal again? What was, you said 137 point?
137.01.
All right. We have to round it by the nearest tenth. If this was a 0 or 1, this answer would still be just 137 degrees. And that would be for our angle C. That's a 7, y'all. 7. 137 degrees. Sorry, it looks like that. That's a 7. Any questions? This is what the test is going to be about. So if you don't understand this process by heart, you're not ready yet. All right? Everyone got this? Now we are looking for AC. AC is little what? What is that? Little, which one? A, B, or C? Little b. Because it's opposite from the angle B, so AC is little b. First, we want to see if we could use the law of sine. In order for us to use the law of sine, we need to have an angle with its side length and another side length or angle. Are we able to use the law of sine? Which one has an angle and a side length? So we're not able to use the law of sine because we don't have one with an angle with a side length. We would have to use the law of sine, so the law of cosine. And since we are looking for b, little b, we would start with b squared equal the other two lengths, which is 20 squared plus 14 squared minus 2 times 14 that's a parentheses right here times 20 times cosine of 93 degrees, which is the angle 4B. $93. All right. So in our calculator, we're going to put these two, this together, 20 squared plus 14 squared. And then we're going to put the negative 2 times 14 times 20 times the cosine of 93 together. $20 squared plus 14 squared. All right, we end up having 596. Then we're going to do the negative 2. Press negative 2 times 20 times 14 times the cosine of 93 degrees. Press enter, and we have 29.3081. We're going to plug it into our equation. So we're going to bring down our b squared equal, for 20 squared plus 14 squared, we had 596. Because we used the negative 2, I cannot bring down that subtraction. I have to use whatever answer that I actually had. So the answer was the positive 29.308. Positive. .308. All right. And we have everything on this side. Now we do what? Add them. 596 plus the 29.308. And that will give me 625.308. So b squared equal 625 point, what was it? 308. All right. The last step to get b by itself is what? Excellent. Square root. The square root gets rid of the square. And b equal what was it? 25. Yes. Yes. And what was the decimal? Okay. So 25.006. Remember, we rounded to the nearest tenth. So this answer will just be the length of B being 25. And I apologize that I have to ask you to repeat it. I loved your accent. You just got a strong accent, so I apologize about that. Any questions? All right. Now, the next one gets longer, because this is what you have to end up getting done, is solving the entire triangle. That's all sides, all angles. Okay? All right. So everyone got this? All right. Now, they want us to solve each triangle. That means we need to get all angles and all side lengths. First, for number 5, what would be easy to get real quick? What? For C. The what? The angle C. How can we get angle C? Excellent. Add those two angles we have and subtract it from 180, because we all know that triangles add up to 180 degrees. So I can do 180 minus 41. I have it on the podium as well if you don't have a copy. Minus 64. And that would give me my leftover angle, which is 75 degrees. All right. Now, are we able to use the law of cosine? I mean, the law of sine, I apologize. Yes. We're able to use the law of sine as long as we have a side length with an angle and another side length or angle. All right. Now, if it is based on order, you always start with the smallest angle or smallest side length. So first we're going to look for the smallest of the two that we are looking at for B or A. So since B is smaller than A, we're looking for the length of little b first. The law of sine, we're going to set up our proportion as 28 divided by the sine of 75 and that equals, if we are looking for a little b, how can we set up the other side of the proportion? B over the sine of 41. Excellent. We are able to cross multiply what? 28 times the sine of 41. We're going to plug that into our calculator. 28 times the sine of 41. And we have 18.3696. All right. The last step is we need to divide with what was left. What was left? Not excellent. Divided by the sine of 75. So in my calculator, all I'm going to do is press divided by. So it's going to give me the answer divided by the sine of 75 in parentheses, enter, and I have 19.017. All right, we need to round to the nearest tenth, so our answer for the length of B will be just what? 19. Meters. I'm sorry, I haven't been adding the metrics. All right, now, are we finished? No. Ain't that fun? We need to find what now? Little a. How can we find little a? The law of sine again. So I'm going to use the same one of the 28 over the sine of 75, but I'm not looking for my B, I'm looking for my A. So I'm going to cross this out, put a little A, because I don't know how to use the eraser tool yet. And A will be over the sine of what? 64. So now erase this. Scribble, scribble, scribble. 64. All right. We're going to cross multiply. We already did. We'll have to cross multiply the what? 28 times the sine of 64. We're going to plug that into our calculator. 28 times the sine of 64. In parentheses, enter, and we have 25.166. All right. What is the last step? We did the cross multiplication, and the last step is to divide. What are we dividing by? What is left? The sine of 75. And that's going to give us, that bottom one says the sine of 75 right here. That's 75. I apologize. I'm still learning how to use the eraser. All right. So divided by the sine of 75. In parentheses, enter, and we have 26.05. We need to round it to the nearest tenth, so that will be what as our answer? 26.1. Because if it is a 5 or higher, we must go up. So this 0 goes up to 1. So the answer for the length of A, that would be 26.1. Do I have any questions on that one? No? Good. I think y'all might be ready then. All right. Look at this beauty. Ain't it beautiful? All right. We need to now see if can we use the law of sine? No, why not? There's no angles. All right. So we're going to have to use the law of cosine. Because we're using the law of cosine, we need to start with the what? The smallest side or angle, which will be 17. So we're going to be looking for the angle for C first. All right. Since we're looking for the angle of C, we're going to start with the 17 squared equal 20 squared plus 30 squared excellent minus 2 times 20 times 30 times cosine of C. All right. We're going to plug in the 17 squared first, get that answer. Then we're going to plug in the 20 squared plus the 30 squared, get that answer. And then we're going to plug in the negative 2 times the 20 times the 30. Write it down. All right. Calculator, activate. We're going to do the 17 squared. We have 289. Then we're going to do the 20 squared plus the 30 squared. And that's going to give us 1,300. And then we're going to do the negative 2 times 20 times 30. We are not able to put cosine because that has a variable. And that gives us negative 1,200. Now let's put that into our equation. 17 squared, we have 289. Equal 20 squared plus 30 squared was 1,300. And when we plugged in the negative 2 times 20 times 30, we had negative 1,200. What do we need to bring down? Excellent. Cosine C. Because we did not finish, we did not include it, that does not mean we erase it. Order of operation, we need to get the C by itself. So we need to move what is further from the C on the same side of the equal sign. The 1,300. That's a positive 1,300. What do we need to do? Subtract 1,300 from both sides. All right, that crosses this out. 289 minus 1300 is negative 1011. Bring it down here. Negative 1011. All right. We bring back the equal sign. We bring down the equal sign. And what do we have left on the right side of the equal sign? What kind of 1200? Excellent. The negative 1200 and cosine C. All right. We need to get the C by itself. What do we move now? What kind? But is it 1200? Negative 1200. I need to divide it by the negative 1200. What I do to one side, I have to do to the other side. All right. First, I'm going to work on the negative divided by negative, which will be a positive. And then all I have to do is put the numbers. 1011 divided by 1200. 0.8425. All right, and that equals cosine C. We are looking for the angle. So what kind of cosine do we need to look for the angle? The inverse cosine. So the inverse cosine, cosine inverse, of our previous answer, 0.8425. Point 8425. And that's a point, y'all, right here. That's a point. 0.8425. All right. So in my calculator, I don't want to write all those decimals. Why work hard? Work smart. Second, cosine. Second, negative to plug in the answer from previously in parentheses and enter. And then my answer is 32.594. $32.954. $594. Sorry. I'm sorry. It's 32.594. Round it to the nearest tenth. first decimal place. We have to look at the second decimal place, and that tells us to do what? Go up. So our answer for the angle for C is 32.6 what? What are we referring to? So 32.6 degrees. All right. Do we need to do the law of cosine, all of that again? Why not? Now we have an angle and a side length. Now we could use the law of sine. All right, remember we're doing the smallest to largest. What's next? B. Excellent. We need to set up our proportion. On the left side, what do we have that has an angle and a side length? C. See, I love y'all talking. Y'all talking that math to me. Y'all talking that math to me. Okay? I like it. All right. So that is 17 over what? Sine of 32.6. Equals, if we are looking for angle B, what will need to be on the right side? 20 over what? Excellent. Sine of B, big B. All right, we need to cross multiply what we are able to cross multiply. That means the one without the variable. What are we cross multiplying? Excellent. Sine 32.6 times the 20 all right, equals sine 32.6. Ooh. All right. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Okay. Fine. Sine of 32.6 times, what was it? Times 20. That is 10.775. We need to be able to do what next? After we cross multiply, we what?
Divided by 17.
Excellent. Divided by 17. So I'm just going to click divided by 17. It's going to say answer divided by 17. And I have 0.6338. Don't worry, I have it recorded. .6338. All right. So that was this. 10.775 divided by 17 is 0.6338. That gives us the cosine of B. We are trying to get the angle. So what type of cosine do... I'm sorry, not we did sine. We was doing the sine. That gives us the sine of big B. If we're trying to get the angle back, what type of sine do we use? The what? The inverse sine. So that is sine inverse of that previous answer, 0.6338. And that will equal, put it in my calculator. All I'm going to do is click second sine for the inverse sine. I'm going to click second negative for my previous answer and in parentheses. Enter. I have 39.334. We need to round it to the nearest tenth, so our answer for the angle B is what? 39 what? Tenth place. 39.3 degrees. Are we done? No. What are we missing? Angle A. What's the easiest way to get angle A? Yes. Add them all up and subtract it from 180 because we know all triangles angles equal 180. So 180 minus 32.6 minus 39.3 and that equals what did y'all get for angle A? 108.1. 108.1 degrees. This is what I needed y'all to get to. And we there. You have to learn to solve the triangles. We're going to end up using the law of sine, the law of cosine, the law of sine, and then what you know about that all angles add up to 180. All right? Wasn't that beautiful work? I know. All right. Next problem. We don't stop till we're done. Sure. Now, let's do it with no picture. But you will have to do what? Draw it. All right, trigonometry is all about what you see. All right, so I'm going to draw the picture of my triangle. Any triangle, doesn't matter. All right. I see it look like C, B, and C, so I'm gonna do A, B, C. A, B, C, D. A. Remember the angles is capital B and C. And then opposite from the angles is the side length. So what is this? Which lowercase letter is this one? This is the length of what? C. So this is little c. This is the length of A, little a. And this is the length of B, little b. All right. They said that the measurement of angle C is 110 degrees. So I'm going to put that 110 inside 110. They said the length of little b is 35 miles. Little b is 35. All right. They said that the length of little c is 38 miles. All right. And first we need to solve the entire triangle. So first, we want to see if we could do the easy law. Can we do the law of sine? I'm sorry? Yes. And she said it was surety. Because she said, yeah, and then with her lighty pop, look back down. That's why I want surety. I'm going to give you 1 plus 1. All right. So we could use a proportion. What would be on one side of the proportion? Excellent. 38 divided by the sine of 110. Equal. Now we always have to start to look for the smallest side or angle first. But because, let's see. Oh, well, we only have one piece of information. So what can we use? 35 over the sine of B. We will end up having to cross multiply what? Excellent. 35 times the sine of 110 that equals 35 times sine of 110 . 32.889. What do we do next? By what? We divide it by what's left, which is the 38. So in my calculator, I'm going to put divided by 38, and I have 0.8655. Zero point 8655. I'm going to double check that. All right. We are looking for the angle. So what type of sine do we use? Sine inverse. See, y'all, I say the same things over and over again because when you're doing math, all you're doing is the same process over and over and over again to the point that you're tired, to the point that you are bored. All right? But I never get bored. All right. And we have 32.889 divided by 38, and we ended up having 0.8655. We're going to do the sine inverse of that answer. Of this answer. So in my calculator, all I'm going to do is click second sine, second negative, in parentheses, and enter. I have 59.94. Round to the nearest tenth, so our answer for the angle B will be 50 what? 59.9. And it's crazy because sometimes I've seen where everybody do everything right up until that last rounding. Please be careful. Be careful. So that's 59.9 degrees. All right. What would be easy to find next?
Angle A.
Angle A. How?
Adding those two numbers together and subtracting 180.
Excellent. Adding the angles we have together and subtract it from 180. So 180.
Subtracted by 169.9.
Excellent. Minus the 59 point. Oh, well, you wouldn't have to add it. The 59.9 and 110. And I'm sorry, what did you get, Yas? 10.1. That's a decimal. 10.1 degrees. Decimal. All right, and the last thing that we need to find is the what?
Side of A.
The side of A. How can we find it? Strategy. The law of sine. All right, the law of sine. We could set up, there's a couple proportions we could set up. We could use the same one that we just did, the 38 over the sine of 110, and just change the other one. Equals, if we are looking for the side length of A, what would the proportion be on the right side? A? Excellent. A over the sine of its angle 10.1. I'm sorry. Looks a little messy. A over the sine of 10.1. All right, so we need to cross multiply first. What can we cross multiply? Excellent. 38 times the sine of 10.1. 6.66? 3? Okay. Oh, shoot. Times the sine. That's the sine. Of 10.1. And y'all said that was 6.663. All right, that's 6.663. That's a decimal right here. All right. The last step. Huh? We need to do what? Excellent. We divided by what is left after we cross multiply, which is the sine of 110. All right. So my calculator, I'm going to do is put divided by the sine of 110. Right. 6.63. Okay. Right. Let me. I'm sorry. That wasn't my answer. It was 6.663 divided by the sine of 110. And that gives us 7.09. Round to the nearest tenth. 7.1. So this little a is 7.1. Any questions? All right. Everyone got this? Let's keep it going. Next. Oh, looky. What is 8 giving me?
All the sides.
All the sides. So that tells me automatically that I'm going to be doing what? The law of cosine. Make my triangle. And we're dealing with still A, B, C. Now, it doesn't matter which order. What matters is that you match the angles with the side lengths. All right. So, this will be little what? Little b, because it's opposite from big B. This will be little c, because it is opposite from big C. And this will be little a, opposite from big A. Now, we have the length of little b at 17 inches. We had the length of A at 11 inches. And we had the length of C at 10 inches. We always start with the smallest. What will be the smallest angle? So that's angle C. All right, so we're going to look for angle C first. So we're going to use the length of C to start with. So that would be 10 squared equal what?
100.
But the equation, 11 squared
Oh.
plus 17 squared minus 2 times 11 times 17 times cosine C. All right. Let me write this down. And then we're going to pull out our handy dandy calculator.
You got 4 minutes.
Okay. I could do this in 4. I could do this. Because I can do all things. All right. So we're going to plug in the 10 squared. Well, we already know what 10 squared is. 11 squared plus 17 squared. The negative 2 times 11 times 17. 10 squared is 100. I'm sorry? 410 for the 11 squared plus 17 squared. For the negative 2 times 11 times 17, we have negative 374. And we bring back the cosine C. We need to get the cosine C by itself. What do we move on the right side of the equal sign? The 410. That's a positive 410. How do we move it? Subtract it. All right, what we do to one side, we have to do to the other side. That's a 0. All right, 100 minus 410 is negative 390 equals, what do we have left?
Negative 374 times cosine c.
Negative 374 times the cosine c. Second to last step.
Add 374 to both sides.
Hmm?
Add 374 to both sides.
The negative 374 is doing what to the cosine c? It's multiplying, so we need to do what? Divide. By the negative 374, when we do to one side, we do to the other. We know that a negative divided by negative is a positive. So all I have to do is put in the 390 divided by 374. And that is 1.042. And get the inverse cosine. Thank you. YouTube page coming soon.
When will you teach the graphing one? The graph?
Yes.
Because I'm done with all this.
Woo. You ahead of me now.
Yeah, and I'm waiting for you. So
Oh.
I'm like,
All right.
I'm dragging it.
You know what? I'll go ahead and work on the notes for you.
Okay.
It's very. The only part that might be a little bit difficult is finding one part of the graph. But I'll get the equation for you.
Okay. Yeah, that's the.
Can you go? What are you doing, bro?
Because I've done all this.
Ooh, I can use restroom. Ooh, Lord.
You need to use the bathroom? Go ahead.
I know. I just.
Put the stuff right here. I'm right here.
Okay. Just. I forgot that I didn't cancel my